Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Bible Talk with John. Today I'm going to read in John chapter 6, starting at verse 25. I'm going to talk about how Jesus is the bread of life and how with the bread of life, that's, that's how we have eternal life in heaven, which is Jesus. He's the reason that we have eternal life in heaven. And last week I talked about taking a stand and and to kind of recap. I was kind of thinking, yes, Jesus is perfect, so that's why he was able to take a stand and be bold about telling people who he is. But I'm sure it was not easy still. Even though he was perfect, I'm sure it was not easy. And we know that because before he was crucified in the garden, he sweat blood about making the right decision. He, so verse 25 says, when they found him on the other side of the lake, they asked him, Rabbi, when did you get here? Jesus answered, very truly I tell you, you are looking for me, not because you saw the signs I performed, but because you ate the loaves and had you full. Do not work for food that spoils, but for food that enters to eternal life. He is saying that we are not to work for this temporary food that will spoil, but work for the food that won't spoil, that into that in, which enters us into heaven, which is him, Jesus. He's talking about himself. Which the Son of Man will give you. For to him God the Father has placed his seal of approval. So God put his seal of approval on Jesus. Then they asked him, what must we do to do the work God requires? Jesus answered, the work of God is this, to believe in the one he has sent. So we are to believe in Jesus. So they asked him, what signs then will you give that we may see and believe you? What will you do? Our ancestors ate manna in the wilderness, as it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat. Jesus said to them, very truly I tell you, it is not Moses who has given you the bread from heaven, but it is my Father who gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is the bread that comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. So they said, always give us this bread. Then Jesus declared, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never go hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. But as I tell you, you have seen me, and still you do not believe. Although the Father, and so you see, we have to believe in Him to have the real bread of life and to have eternal life. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.